What if the secret to success isn't doing more, but doing less, better? Today, we're diving into Disney's unwavering focus on animated storytelling to build a global empire. Along the way, we'll uncover lessons from Pixar's Toy Story and Nintendo's groundbreaking Wii, and exploring how focusing on what matters most can create extraordinary impact. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure to do it all, this one's for you. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see how narrowing your focus might just be the smartest move you'll ever make. Walt Disney didn't just succeed because he tried to do everything. He succeeded because he focused entirely on one thing: animated storytelling. In a time when live-action films dominated, Disney doubled down on animation, a format many dismissed as a niche for children. But Walt also saw what others didn't. Animation wasn't just a tool, it was a medium for storytelling, one that could evoke universal emotions. And he bet everything on that vision. During the production of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Walt mortgaged his home to fund the project. Critics called it Disney's folly, convinced no one would ever sit through an animation feature. But here's the kicker. Snow White wasn't just a success. It redefined what animation could be. Disney's use of multiplane camera added depth and emotion, and the film's emotional resonance captivated the audiences worldwide. He didn't just make animated movies, he created magic. This is a perfect example of what Clay Christensen calls disruptive innovation in his book, The Innovator's Dilemma. By focusing on a niche that others overlook, Disney built a foundation that resonated with early adopters. Over time, this created a tipping point, turning animation into a central pillar of global entertainment. Let's fast forward to 1995. Pixar launched Toy Story, the first ever fully computer-animated feature film. Sounds like a slam dunk, right? Not so fast. Here's what most people didn't know. Pixar was on the brink of collapse before the film's release. Steve Jobs, who owned Pixar, almost sold the company because it was losing millions. He stuck with it, believing in the team's vision. Toy Story wasn't just a technical achievement, it was an emotional one. John Lasseter, Pixar's creative genius, insisted that storytelling had to come first. Early versions of the film portrayed Woody as a sarcastic, unlikable character, but Lasseter pushed for changes, knowing the audience wouldn't connect with someone they didn't root for. Then there was a technical hurdle. Back in 1995, rendering every single frame of the movie took hours. The technology was groundbreaking, but it had limitations. Animators had to make deliberate choices, like simplifying human characters to avoid uncanny valley. Despite all this, Pixar stayed focused on two priorities: advancing technology and creating emotional resonant stories. Toy Story didn't just succeed, it set a new standard for what animated films could achieve. And it all started with a relentless commitment to doing a few things exceptionally well. Now let's talk about Nintendo. In 2006, while Sony and Microsoft were duking it out for the most graphically advanced console, Nintendo did something completely different. They went all in on the Wii, a console designed not for hardcore gamers, but for families, seniors, and casual players. Nintendo made this decision after the GameCube, a traditional gaming console, failed to compete. They realized they couldn't win the graphics war, so they focused on creating an entirely new market. Instead of prioritizing visuals, they invested in motion controls and games that engaged physical activity like Wii Sports. They did something radically different, even in their marketing. They marketed the Wii in places like senior centers and retirement homes. Suddenly, people who had never picked up a game controller were bowling and playing tennis in their living rooms. Nintendo didn't just sell a product, they created an experience. that resonated across generations. The result? The Wii became one of the best-selling game consoles of all time. By rejecting the industry's obsession with graphics and focusing on simplicity, Nintendo carved out a unique identity and proved that sometimes less really is more. Here are 3 tips to help you apply these principles in your context. Tip 1. Build relationships with early adopters. The most important people in your early journey aren't the masses, they're the first few who believe in you. Early adopters see potential where others don't, and their feedback can be a game changer. Treat them like partners, not just customers. Engage with them directly, listen to their insights, and let them feel like they're part of your mission. Relationships like these aren't just helpful, they're foundational. Tip 2. Embrace trade-offs for agility. Here's the truth. You can't do it all. And the sooner you accept that, the faster you'll grow. As Greg says in his book, Essentialism, focusing on what matters most requires saying no to distractions, even tempting ones. Trade-offs aren't setbacks. They're choices that keep you agile, aligned, and moving forward. Tip 3. Balance innovation with emotional connection. Innovation is exciting, but here's one question. Does it make your work more human? Pixar nailed it with Toy Story. They used cutting-edge technology, but every decision served the story. When you're innovating, ask yourself, am I creating something my audience will connect with on a deeper level? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track. When you think about Disney's animation films or Nintendo's motion-controlled games, the lesson is simple. Success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing fewer things with unwavering commitment. Focus isn't a limitation, it's a strategy. In a world that constantly pushes us to chase more, there's strength in stepping back and asking what matters most. That clarity isn't just powerful, it's transformative. Here's my challenge for you. Take 10 minutes today to reflect. What's one area in your life or business where you can narrow your focus? What's one distraction you can let go of? Remember, success doesn't demand endless action. It demands intentional action. So start small, but start today. You'll be amazed at the momentum you build when you focus on what truly matters. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Anything But Not Everything. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who's ready to take the next step. Let's keep the conversation going, and I'll see you in the next episode.